Hey, welcome into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And this week we have our Decade in Review, video games.
Yep.
So we got a couple of notable topics before we get going. And so, Dorian, why don't you lead us in?
All right. So, first off, in this decade, this is kind of like the decade that DLC really made its firm impact on the industry. And we kind of got a little bit of it, like
I have to say that last gen, maybe we got some.
well, last gen it definitely got cemented for sure. But previously, like talking like 2007 to like 2009, it was kind of there, but it was kind of like people were trying to figure out like what it should be.
Yeah, how much are people willing to pay?
How much people are willing to cost? What should it include and all that?
Yeah.
We kind of got more definitive answers with this decade here for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, somewhat. I mean, because there are, studios that are still like trying to figure out how to do this thing.
And I would say it's changed because I feel like before it was in addition to this game.
Yeah.
Now it's like if you want the full game,
Yeah.
you're going to pay this extra $30 to $60
True. Yeah. I mean,
for the most part.
yeah. And I mean, so, we've kind of talked about this beforehand, but there is definitely a right way to do DLC and there's definitely a wrong way to do DLC. And I think one of the things you have to do is you have to have some prerequisites on if you're going to do DLC right. For one, no day one DLC where
it's
like
malarkey.
where it's on the disc. You literally like have it on there or like you have it a part of the game. You just need to pay to unlock it here. I mean,
Right.
no, I think that's stupid. Should feel more like an add-on and not like something essential to the core experience of the game here for the most part. Like, if it's like not a complete game, like, kind of like how Star Wars Battlefront, the first one.
Yeah, it wasn't at all.
Yeah, it launched with like, I think maybe about 4 or 5 maps.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, well, but there's more coming, but you have to pay another $60 for the season pass on top of that. It's like,
It's ridiculous.
nobody wants to do that.
No, I don't, and I'm not gonna. Sorry.
Exactly. And
I even feel that way about games I really like. It's a love-hate thing because you're like, man, I want more content because I really enjoyed this game.
sure. Yeah.
But man, this changes the story of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
If I didn't know that, if I didn't buy this extra pass, I wouldn't have known that for the next game. Or whatever it might be.
I mean, the thing is like it should feel like a bonus as opposed to like something that's essential. But
like I've really liked with certain games. I think I'm trying to remember if Arkham did this, but I think there was DLC where you could play as Nightwing or other characters.
There was DLC, and it was just like
Maybe like a mission.
Yeah, a mission or challenge room. There was like that one that came out for Arkham City. It's focused around like Harley Quinn and the events that happened afterwards.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
that makes sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to do with the direct main storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's other characters within that game that you get to explore.
Well, yeah,
that is cool. That is good DLC. In my opinion.
no, I think that is a good way to do it here. But another thing that you need to do with the DLC, and I mean this is the big one. It needs to be reasonably priced. And that's going to vary on like what kind of DLC you're putting out there. Because, for example, like The Witcher's DLC, it's a second DLC pack or whatever. That is as big as The Witcher 2.
That's nuts.
And that's like I think they ask for like $15. So that's
comparable for sure.
That is very comparable. You're definitely getting your bang for your buck on that one here. And it's also separate from like the main story. It's not like it adds to it, but it doesn't like, it's not going to be like a big new revelation that you're going to find out about, certain things about that happen in the main game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, some of my favorite DLCs that probably came out of, the past couple of years, I would say like Undead Nightmare from Red Dead Redemption, because basically you just took the really solid Western game that you already made and you just put zombies in it here.
Okay.
And yeah, so I mean, it definitely changes the game. It's a nice little bonus, no, it was good. And yeah, I think they only asked for like maybe, I don't know, $10 or $15 for it. So,
that's solid.
Yeah.
That's doable.
Yeah, gave you new story missions, gave you like new multiplayer options. It was good. Also, the Heartfire DLC for Skyrim. Basically, this is a DLC where allows you to build your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one was like, like I don't think it was like any more than $20 here, and it was like, yeah, no, I appreciated it just because I mean that's something I did want in Skyrim, and they provided that. So the other one is the Arkham Knight DLC because here's the thing, like initially when Arkham Knight came out, they asked for like about I think $40 or $50 for a season pass here.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And since then, they've definitely dropped that down here to where, like, I think the season pass like gets you like is like maybe $20 or $10 somewhere around there. But it gives you like this mission where you play as Batgirl. It gives you like additional villains to like fight in the main game. So like you go up against Killer Croc, you go against Ra's al Ghul and stuff like that. I think you actually do go against Mr. Freeze as well. So yeah. So I mean, it's so in my mind, I mean, yeah, that's some worthwhile content here. I mean, provided that they discounted that season pass here,
right?
So yeah.
Yeah, as far as DLC is concerned, like I think I already kind of said what I believe, but. It just gets so expensive if you add up all the passes. Like if it is, I don't know. I think it's really case by case.
Yeah.
What should be in the game, what shouldn't be in the game, and then, essentially you're creating a paywall to see the ending of the game, and that's when I really am like,
yeah,
nope, not today.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm done.
Well, I mean, in this generation, you definitely saw games take on more of a games as a service role as opposed to like just being a one-time investment here.
Constantly releasing new content.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
apparently Battlefront 2 for PlayStation and all that jazz is good now.
Yeah.
I haven't played it since it's been bad.
Yeah.
Because it was bad.
Yeah.
And so it would take a lot for me. I think I might touch on it just to see what's up.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's actually good now.
That's what I've heard too. But yeah, and then also...
but it's been how many years since it came out?
2 at least.
And so now you probably should just waited 2 years to release this game.
Oh, Battlefront 2?
Yeah.
I think
or maybe a year, an extra year.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, we'll probably get into it a little bit more with some of our next topics, but it's mostly just, I think boils down to just like EA just being like absolutely greedy and just
pretty much
just having like some really like, crummy business practices.
Oh, even with Madden and stuff, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Which also is produced by EA as well. But yeah, no, I mean, but you definitely saw games take on like a, kind of like a service model. Like, you have like Destiny where it's like, okay, you have to buy new expansions to like, kind of continue playing this game if you want to be like in the know. And that's not really anything new that's happened with like MMOs, like World of Warcraft, like pretty much does that.
Yeah, it's been around for a while, just maybe not in the console.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's kind of a little bit of a double-edged sword because, I mean, yes, if you really like a game, you're getting more content out of it, but it's also one of those things where it's like, yeah, but you're also going to you might have to pay like, more than you probably would consider reasonable in order to like actually, continue playing that game or said game or like being up to date or current with it.
Yeah. And that's all I got for DLC. How about you?
Yeah, that pretty much covers it for the most part.
And we'll talk about DLC kind of in more depth when we talk about specific games.
Yep.
But the next topic is the rise of indie games, especially if you have a Switch.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
There are indie games on other platforms, but I think the Switch is really, and I think we both agree on this. There's something different about the Switch when it comes to that stuff.
No,
it's a whole. There are so many games constantly coming out.
Yeah,
some of them are gold.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
and they're cheap. No, $15.
Absolutely.
Have fun with this platformer.
Absolutely. No, I mean, because the thing is like over the last decade, we've definitely seen the rise of indie games. Like, it used to be kind of more niche, blah, blah, blah. And then basically there's like indie games of all sorts here. We have stuff that's just like walking simulators. We have things that are more like retro.
Goat simulators.
Yeah, goat simulators. We have, essentially like reviving like old retro genres like beat 'em ups and
Yeah.
all that, platformers that you don't really get. You don't see like a whole lot of AAA studios really give much attention to those.
No.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it gives everybody something to play here for the most part.
Yeah, I agree.
It gives a lot of variety and diversity in terms of like, the gaming spectrum. You don't have to just always like rely on like, Infinity Ward put out like a different game. Oh no, they're just going to put out another Call of Duty type thing here.
Right.
You don't have to rely on a big studio essentially taking a quote unquote gamble and putting this game out there, or maybe putting a game that's not going to get them the Call of Duty numbers that they want or something like that.
Well, and it's probably better for the developers too, just to be able to put their stuff on there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
So.
because most of these are passion projects here,
Oh, for sure.
And
you see that in the games.
You absolutely do see that here. I mean, yeah, you get some banger games for lower prices. I mean, like, most of these games roughly like in the 10 to $20 range. I mean, I think the highest I've seen indie game B is like maybe about $40, but like that's like, but those are pretty like few and far in between here. And no, I think it's some of like my favorites like are The Messenger, Broforce, which
Broforce, of course.
so good.
Got to play that game, people.
Outlander, which is basically like a Metroidvania where you're swapping between colors and stuff like that. And Guacamelee and Stardust here are just.
Which one's Stardust?
Stardust is basically it's like a shmup, like a kind of like those old spaceship arcade shooter games.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is like you're not like side scrolling on a screen or going like left or right or up and down. Basically, you're on a planet and you're going around this planet like destroying asteroids and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's addicting.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, this is probably like the one area where you're probably seeing the most innovation in gaming here for the most part, because you see like a lot more. I mean, like with AAA studios, most of the time they're going to play it safe, or they're going to do the thing that they know is going to net them the most profit here.
Totally.
Whereas this, like you see things like take risks, like
My Friend Pedro.
or like like something that hasn't quite been done before, or hasn't really been done a whole lot here, or just something creative and new here.
What was the game that we would play all the time where you're like the little colored things?
Oh, Gang Beasts.
Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
That game is freaking so fun.
Oh, it's so fun.
So fun.
Yeah.
We would get... It was a lot of love-hate in that game.
It was a lot of screaming matches.
Yeah, it was really fun, though.
Yeah.
Really fun.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say for me, as far as the indie games go, I mean, I kind of just listed these off the top of my head without doing... I was trying to think back on all the indie games I've actually played.
Yeah.
And then there's some that I haven't put a lot of time in, that because I have a back catalog of games on my Switch.
Yeah, same here.
But my top indie game would probably be Into the Breach.
Yeah.
Which is like an RTS game.
Yeah.
Super fun, super addicting. Like it's kind of a chess match, strategy. Broforce for sure.
Yeah,
you get to play as your favorite action heroes from the 80s and 90s.
To this day, I'm really surprised they didn't
Get sued.
Yeah, they didn't get slapped with a lawsuit or anything like that, because it's so like, yeah, who you're trying to imitate on this one.
Oh
here.
yeah. And then are the SteamWorld games indie?
Yeah, no, they are.
Okay, so SteamWorld Heist is really fun too. Another RTS game.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. Had a lot of time, like a really good time just playing it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Octopath, is it?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a big game. That game's dope. I know those were my top ones. I was thinking of one more. I can't place my finger on it. Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah, Hollow Knight. Yeah,
Hollow Knight. I played a little bit.
Yeah,
it's pretty dang fun. Pretty addicting.
Art style, very, very, very good.
Yeah, very cool. That gothic kind of eerie.
Yeah, very eerie. Metroidvania. Yeah,
big time.
Yeah,
and, it's a cool platformer. It's hard.
Most definitely hard. Yeah.
Do you have Hollow Knight?
I have Hollow Knight.
Okay, and then I guess Silk Song, like the sequels come in.
Yeah, that's supposed to maybe come this year. I don't think they've set like a official release date.
Another one would be Shovel Knight.
Oh yeah, of course.
Shovel Knight's legit.
Yeah.
I don't remember where. I think you must have been working, but like me and Seabricked, powered through that game on multiplayer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we've still been talking about getting together and finishing
it
it because of the new DLCs that have come out since then, and so
yeah,
that game's super fun. If you guys haven't played Shovel Knight, it might sound like a joke, but it's actually really, really fun and really enjoyable.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a lot of inspiration from like DuckTales and Mega Man, like a lot of those
big time
old games that you probably may or may not have grown up on with the NES and all that. But no, it's a good throwback.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, but to comment on like what you were saying about earlier on like the Switch here, I mean, yes, the Switch has been like a haven for indie games for one here, but I think one of the things that kind of lends its strength to that is just because that's like those are games that just feel good playing like handheld here.
They're meant to play on a Nintendo console. We'll be like, honestly, like,
well, especially a lot of them have like Nintendo influences.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And so it makes sense, but also on the go, like with the Switch system, you're able to play on the go. And these are just quick games you could pick up. Not really have to think about where you're at in the game. You just play, really.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, all right. So next up, we are going to be talking about EA and their downward spiral, possibly resurgence. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
A little too early to tell on that one.
Too early.
But just to give you guys a little bit of example, so EA is probably one of the biggest publishers in the business here.
Yep.
They have the Madden license currently. They have the Star Wars license. They also produce Battlefield. They own BioWare. They got like a lot of studios and franchises that are under their umbrella.
Yeah.
So that being said, they really, really did not do well, I feel like, this gen. And I mean,
not at all.
Here's the thing. EA is constantly criticized, I feel like, by people on the internet. And almost to the point where I feel like, okay, you're kind of getting a little ridiculous with that here. But I think this gen, they definitely pretty much validated those reasons for a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Because, for example, like, they would like release like games that were super buggy at launch, like Battlefield 4. I heard was like almost unplayable when it launched, like at least on the multiplayer side.
Yeah.
And then Mass Effect Andromeda.
Gosh.
Did you see anything about that?
I mean, I saw a lot of stuff on the internet about that. I never played it because I heard you can't play it, basically.
Yeah, I mean just like. Yeah,
I loved the Mass Effect games too.
No,
those were great games.
Those were great games. At least like the trilogy and all that. But like this game, I don't know what happened, but pretty much all the talent went out with it.
Yep.
Yeah, but Battlefront 1 and 2. Battlefront 1, like we mentioned earlier, pretty much like an incomplete game when they launched it.
Battlefront 2 also.
Yeah, I mean, well, the big thing about Battlefront 2 was like the loot box system and the progression system.
God. Yeah, it was a pay to play.
Yeah, pay to play, pay to win. You already spent $60 on the game.
Yeah, why would I be paying more stuff every week? This isn't Pokemon cards. I'm not paying for packs and opening them up hoping I'm getting a holo.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing is, too,
there was no even playing field with that.
No,
at all.
Either you had what you needed to win or you just lost until you put more money in and got lucky here. And I mean, the thing is like, with Battlefront 1, the big thing was like they hid like half the game behind a season pass here.
Yep.
And then like, people spoke out about that. And so then for Battlefront 2, they said, okay, so here's what we're doing. We're going to have like, twice the amount of content that Battlefront 1 had with at launch with Battlefront 2. All the DLC is going to be free, blah, blah, blah. So everything sounded like it was shaping up to be good here.
Solid,
yeah.
Yeah,
it was going to have both prequel, original, and the sequel trilogy all playing a part in this game, which is like, okay, sweet. So I get to have Darth Maul fight Kylo Ren or something like that, or, sounds great. But problem is, it was the progression system. They cannot make a good decision in terms of like, like Greed makes all their decisions over there.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a shame just because like, these are the guys who do own the Star Wars license currently. And they also own BioWare as well.
Which, I mean, they did have some retribution with Jedi Fallen Order.
They did have retribution with Jedi Fallen Order.
Maybe let's talk about maybe what they could do.
Yeah.
You know, kind of. They have made some okay moves, like Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah. No DLC. No.
Not that we know of.
No pay to win things.
Nope, none of that.
Nothing that. They gave you a complete game.
I mean, and this is a first-person platformer for all intents and purposes, adventure game. This is not a competitive online playing. So it would be really hard for them, I think, unless they did I still haven't finished the game because I can't get past that one dude. But if they withheld the ending and said, "Hey, it's gonna be $30," then I'd be like, "Forget you, EA."
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but even like Apex Legends.
Yeah, no, it's free.
Yeah, free to play.
All the microtrans action stuff is cosmetic.
Yeah,
so
which I love. I love that.
It doesn't
because I don't have to pay anything.
Yeah, you can enjoy the game, but if you want your character to look, maybe a little bit doper than they actually are, then put a couple bucks down.
Sure.
But yeah, and then Titanfall, even though like Titanfall is kind of
that's a fun game.
Yeah, no, it's a solid game. I don't think they really tried to rake people over the coals with like microtransactions or like DLC or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, no, so they might be on a little bit of an upturn, hopefully, maybe, hard to say, but if I mean if they kind of continue with what they're doing with like Apex Legends and Jedi Fallen Order, then they might actually start turning some things around and actually gain a better reputation than what they have.
And I think you're right. I think they're already listening to the community.
Yeah.
I think they just need to keep going with that model.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of like, hey, or just be transparent about it. Like, don't hide stuff behind paywalls. Like, go, hey, if you want to enjoy the base story of our game, $60. But if you want to play as additional characters or have these cool skins or these things, it's going to be another $20.
Well, I mean, the thing is like EA is like a business leader in terms of like how not to do DLC or how not to like, do like or how to design like essentially like extra stuff in video games here, because ultimately, they honestly just make choices just out of straight up corporate greed here, at that point.
Yeah.
I don't like using that term very often, but I mean, this is like an absolute, cut and dried case of like what that is.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Moving into BioWare and Bethesda, looking at them, they might be in trouble.
Yeah. So, I mean, BioWare, really acclaimed studio, made the Dragon Age series, made Knights of the Old Republic, made Mass Effect. Bethesda.
All solid games.
Yeah, Bethesda as well. They are responsible for Fallout and a little game called The Elder Scrolls. You might otherwise known as Skyrim,
Morrowind,
Oblivion, all that stuff. So here's the thing: they were the RPG kings of last gen,
big time.
Like they defined what Western RPGs were for that generation.
I agree 100%.
Yes. What happened? Because this gen,
they made really bad games. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, because I mean the thing is like they made obviously Mass Effect and Andromeda.
Yep.
Absolutely disaster of a video game here. Like nowhere lived up to like, its predecessors.
Fallout 76 also a massive failure.
Yeah, like absolute disaster. Like it boggles me like how that studio that really knew, you kind of figured like, if a studio is like pretty well known or pretty renowned here, they have an idea of like, what they're capable of and what they're not capable of.
And what their fans want.
Yeah, exactly. And so both times they just gave their fans what they didn't want. Like
totally.
Fallout 76, absolute disaster. Like, Bethesda also focused a lot more on mobile games this gen. They didn't even do like an Elder Scrolls
They
game.
did the Elder Scrolls Online, but who's playing that?
But
who's playing that? Like, to be honest,
I think that it does have like a solid community of people who continue to play it. But it's not the next Skyrim.
No, and we did get an announcement that there's going to be the next Elder Scrolls game at some point in the future.
But that's not coming out till next gen. We all know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not dropping this year.
We did not get a follow-up to Skyrim.
No.
We got nothing. And so I think that's really where they went wrong was they They tried to change too much, really.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It's like I get it. You know, you need to have like another Fallout game, and you did that with Fallout 4. And that game, like, you know, I'm not a Fallout fan, so I can't really speak for the Fallout fans. But from what I gathered, general consensus is that game was okay.
Right.
It wasn't as good as like Fallout 3, or like wasn't like the crazy thing that people were hoping for on that one. That being said, it's like, okay, you checked off the box for your Fallout game. Why don't you move on to a Elder Scrolls game right then and there? Because you know that's what people want.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like, oh no, we're gonna do like another Fallout game, and it's gonna be an MMO type style, but only it's gonna be absolute garbage.
I really think that was their focus, was trying to break in the MMO market, because you got that game and you got Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is Elder Scrolls Online, that's not even developed by Bethesda.
Oh, that's right. It's a whole different.
Yeah,
they farmed it out basically.
Yeah, they farmed it out. Yeah, so
dude, I don't know. It's just disappointing, honestly.
No, it is. I mean, it's like,
because here's the deal: by the time the next game comes out, we're gonna be old men.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have some kids running around. I'm not gonna have time for that freaking game.
And the thing is like, and here's the thing: is like, we have had like, you know, better examples of like, you know, what like an open world game can be. Like The Witcher, I think is this generation's Skyrim here.
Oh yeah,
and you know, you have like better combat than you do in like, you know, Skyrim. On that, you have like better storytelling, better voice acting, better graphics, and all that.
Pretty much just better all around.
Pretty much better all around.
I mean, I adore Skyrim.
Sure,
I adore that game.
Sure.
I think it's a lot of fun. They better wow us with this next game.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like they can't keep relying on the same old tricks that they've been like, you know, doing for like the last 10 years or whatever here that they've been developing the games for and all that, because you have people that are showing you up on your own game here, so you have to like step it up or, you know, ship out. But no, both of these studios, like, they need a win, and they need a win bad if they want to stay in the game.
We'll see.
So up next, Battle Royale is a thing that happened. Within this decade.
I mean, I was part of it. I mean, when Fortnite came out, it was a simple enough game to jump into.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun to get your friends online and kind of just like, hey, let's go try to survive this thing.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, it's free. Everybody has it.
Everyone has it. It's free. Like, again, you only had to pay for those cosmetic skins you wanted.
Yeah.
Which kids paid out the wazoo. They were using their parents' credit cards and paid out the wazoo for those stinking. They're like $20 for just an outfit.
For those dance emotes and all that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, yeah, no. And then, no, I mean, basically Battle Royale gave us the Hunger Games /
Battle Royale. There's a movie called Battle Royale. Check it out.
Yeah. That we've always wanted here.
For sure.
Part. But, I mean, here's the thing. Fortnite's turnaround, honestly, is a stroke of genius, because that game came out, I think, early 2017, and it was like a zombie survival game. That's where like all the building and stuff like that comes into play here. Nobody really played it here. All of a sudden, like, you know, they see PUBG's getting popular.
Yep.
So they take PUBG's formula and take their pre-existing gameplay that they already have, and then, you know, essentially make a whole new, you know, Battle Royale mode.
Yeah.
Say, hey, this is free.
This is Fortnite.
It's Fortnite. It's not rated M, so kids can play it.
Yep.
And that was it.
Killed it.
Like,
overnight success.
Overnight.
At that point.
Like,
this is
every kid's
game. Everyone was talking about it.
This is, I would say, probably this generation's, like, essentially like Halo 3 or like Call of Duty 4.
Even Halo 2, Halo 3 right in there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, no, this is one that, like, you know, when kids from this generation grow up, they're going to be talking about like, how they always played with their buddies after school on Fortnite.
Yeah, and I would say that like this is a game that doesn't really have any competitors. Like PUBG is not the same game because you can't build and stuff like that.
No, you can't. But I mean, it's
people still play it. I'm not saying they're not playing it. They are playing PUBG. I never really got into PUBG.
Yeah.
Apex Legends
Yeah.
would be the closest competitor, but I still think it's pulling a whole different demographic than those kids that are playing Fortnite.
I don't know. I think.
Well, you think about kids that are playing Fortnite, they're like 10-year-olds, and
Yeah.
their parents don't care that they're playing Fortnite because there's no like blood, there's no any of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, it's more cartoony and like more
Yeah.
kid friendly looking. I mean, Apex Legends is rated teen.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not. So I mean, it's still got the same rating. It is a little bit more real, has a more realistic style than like Fortnite. But
Yeah.
I definitely think it did take a bite out of like Fortnite's success because I mean, you remember like maybe a couple years back before Apex Legends launched, like it was huge. It was everywhere. You couldn't get away from it. And now it's like it's a little diminished, I feel like. But I mean,
yeah, and I'm trying to really figure out what the next thing is. Like what's that big thing that they're going to gravitate towards?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, this is I would say like how like last generation zombies were the big thing.
Oh
here?
yeah, Call of Duty is about it.
Battle Royale is it's
the progression really.
Yeah,
of
it
that.
is the next big thing because I mean, you have Call of Duty has a battle royale mode. Fallout 76, probably garbage, but it has it. Paladins has it. Red Dead Redemption 2 has it. So I mean, yeah, no.
What the heck?
So no, it's contagious basically, and I think here's the thing: is like Fortnite. I mean, it's all right. It's not a great game just because I feel like a lot of the mechanics in that game were designed for a different game in mind, like the zombie survival game that they were originally trying to make here, with the building and the gunplay. So, but I mean, they had like an absolutely killer business model and they ran away with it.
Yeah,
Insane.
super insane. Do we want to talk about open world games at all?
Yeah, we'll talk about it for a little bit here.
Okay.
So, this generation in particular, I feel like they really had a big emphasis and focus on open world games here. I remember 2015, I think that was like the big year. You had The Witcher, you had Arkham Knight, you also had what else here? Metal Gear Solid 5, a couple others I'm probably forgetting, but you also have things like, Horizon Zero Dawn, you have
that game was
Red Dead
fun.
Redemption 2, you have a lot of big games that are really just focusing on open world. Breath of the Wild. Yeah, absolutely. So, no, it's one of those things that I think that, yeah, everybody just kind of gravitated to, at least like the very hardcore gamer crowd. Now, I'm in a little bit of an opposition with that just because I feel like, here's the thing. I mean, I do like an open world game. However, I don't feel like most open world games really like need to be made open world per se,
Yeah,
because I feel like there are games out there that, say, yeah, we got like a whole, this big open world, but it's not as interesting to like explore or see or do stuff here, and there's also like, it's a time sink. And
a big one.
because I mean, and most of these games you could probably play, through the game, through the main story within like a reasonable amount of time, but it's like, that's not what you play those games for. You want you actually want to explore. You want to see the majority of the bulk of the game here, and not just just scratch the surface here.
Totally. Yeah. I don't have much else to say on that, but what do we got to say about Nintendo this generation?
Well,
or this decade, I guess.
It's
It was a roller coaster, really.
two sides of a coin here, because
Yeah.
they
Say the least.
2012 they launched with the Wii U.
That's crazy that it was only 2012. I feel like it was a lot longer than that.
Yeah, but it does feel like it was longer, but no, it was 2012.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Obviously, we all know that this console didn't exactly land.
No.
It kind of fell on its face. And I didn't expect it to crash and burn as hard as it did, because it only sold like 13 million copies, 13 million units, which
I had one of those.
yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, And, with this console, you definitely saw Nintendo's third-party problem. What I mean by that is, historically, Nintendo does not have really that great of a relationship with a lot of third-party studios to where they can get games made or put onto, like, their console here.
Yeah.
This is something that they've had since, like, probably the Super Nintendo here, where they've always struggled to have, like, a decent third-party offering, and they pretty much relied on their first-party stuff here.
Yep.
So, but I mean, and the thing is like, they were really trying to capture the success of the Wii. That's why they, put the word Wii in there.
Yeah.
And they also were kind of trying to split the baby a little bit by saying that, okay, we're going to have the motion control aspect so that the casual gamers and the moms and dads and the grandmas and grandpas can still play our console. But at the same time, we're going to kind of have like this tablet-like thing.
Yeah, that was the proto Switch.
Yeah, it was definitely the proto Switch.
It was weird.
But we're going to have this tablet controller. That way you can kind of play like, your more traditional games, like your Call of Duties, your Skyrims, all those things that, the hardcore gamer crowd, likes to play here.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I don't think they ended up pleasing anybody because, this didn't sell like the units that, that you were trying to get to for like, the casual gamers, because those guys just kept playing their Wii, and they probably still playing their Wii in all honesty here.
Yeah.
And the hardcore gamer crowd, they wanted a console that was going to be, the cutting edge here. And you had the PlayStation and Xbox launch their new consoles in the next year.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, well, why would I buy this when I could just wait around for, the next big thing here, if that's what you're trying to go for. So it'll be more faster and more powerful.
Yeah.
So no, I think they just did not know what they really wanted out of that generation here. But what ends up happening is a little HD Game Boy comes out called the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
It basically merges the handheld and console market.
Yeah, because before that, I mean, Nintendo's faculties basically were split between handheld and at home.
Yep.
Being that of the DS, which was still really successful.
No, and
that's what kept them alive pretty much through the Wii U, I feel like.
Oh, most definitely. And not to mention, too, like, other than, like, when the Wii launched, I feel like Nintendo has always had, like, its best success on handhelds. Like, the Game Boy, super successful. Game Boy Advance was more successful than the GameCube. The DS was very successful. Probably not as successful as the Wii. Oh, no, it might have been. I
don't know, but they've never really had competition except for
Sony for like a brief
minute.
moment. But yeah, but no, I mean they never really have struggled on the handheld side here. No. And no, I mean, but they, for one thing, they really got the message right this time when advertising this, saying, "Hey, do you like console games? Do you like playing them on the go? We got you."
Got it.
I mean, yeah, they showed Skyrim running on this thing the first time it was revealed, and everybody was like saying, like, "Wait, we're at that stage now where we can just have Skyrim wherever we want."
I know, it was crazy.
It's crazy, and now you can have The Witcher wherever you want, which that blows my mind. But no, this is what the Wii U should have been, in all honesty here.
Oh yeah,
and it solves Nintendo's third-party problem that they've had since the Super Nintendo. They actually got third-party support on here. They actually have, a whole just any game you pretty much want is on this console for the most part. Here.
Yeah, I agree.
Like any indie game, it's there. Heck, I think there are some indie games that come out to PC and Switch only.
That's it. Yeah, they don't bother with the other systems.
Exactly. So, no, it's you remember the launch week of this thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that was my birthday, basically.
Not only that, but like I remember we went and saw Logan.
Yeah.
Opening night, and then we went to GameStop, picked up our Switches.
Yep.
And then we went over to your house, and we're both playing Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
And we're talking about like all the different things that are going on because you're going one direction, I'm going another direction. You figured one thing out, I figured another thing out, and we're just communicating. Yeah, you could not do that without that, unless you're going to hook up like a bunch of consoles and TVs like all at the same time here,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, still going strong. Like I said, I think it did outsell the Xbox One within almost 3 years of just being out, and the Xbox One has been out for like 7.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just goes to show you kind of when you listen to the fans and you're innovative and you're not afraid to kind of take a risk,
Yeah.
pays off.
Well, I think the thing that really helped them out on this one is like they actually decided to make a commitment on something, because Wii U, they were trying to pander to both sides of the aisle. This one, they were saying, okay, this is for people who like playing video games in the traditional sense. We're going to give that to them. But seeing how we can't compete for power, well, we're going to compete on
Accessibility.
Accessibility, and also just convenientness here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a parent and you want to be able to like play your Switch in your bedroom, or your kids are watching TV, or your wife's watching TV, and you want to play something, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Cool. Well, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to be coming back and talking about our favorite games of the decade. We're back from our commercial break talking about our favorite games of the decade. Dorian,
Yep.
what's up?
So I'll tell you what's up. A little game called Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
Or sorry, 1. So
Yeah.
not. That being said, this game when it came out, I don't think I played a Rockstar game before that. Here, I didn't play Grand Theft Auto. So,
Oh, okay.
but basically, this is a game where you can do anything that you've seen in a Western movie. You want to rob a train? You want to go bounty hunting? You want to tame a horse? Play poker? Get in a big saloon shootout that leads into the streets of like a small town? You can do all that. And it's like open world.
Seems fun.
Yeah. It's no shortage of stuff to do, things to see. The story and the character writing is top notch. Basically, you're playing a guy who used to run with a gang, ends up settling down, has a wife and kid. Problem is, some G-men want you to track down your old gang and bring them in, and they're not allowing you to do that, or not allowing you to be with your wife and kid if you don't do this here. So definitely like has like that family aspect to the game, or like, where it values family. But no, if you've ever wanted a cowboy game, this is it right here.
Yeah, and I've never played it because I'm not a cowboy guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a Western fan, but I mean, it looked fun.
Yeah, no,
I just never really got into it. It's a time sink, probably, like many other
yeah. I mean,
RPG style open world games are.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, because I mean, I'm somebody who grew up on Westerns. I do enjoy like, an occasional old Western movie like a John Wayne or something like that. So yeah, I like this game was just right up my alley. So no, it was great.
Nice.
So you're up next.
Yeah. Pokemon Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was not a big fan of Sun and Moon.
Okay.
They changed a lot of things about the game that really made Pokemon what it was. They took away the gym. They had it was essentially gyms. They didn't call them that. There wasn't as many. They had basically the island leaders from each island you would fight, and it would be like I think they called them kahunas. Kahuna? I don't remember.
Okay.
It wasn't memorable enough for me to be like, I remember this game and all the Pokemon in it.
Yeah.
But no, Pokemon Shield really did, I think, meet expectations of a lot of people. There are certain people that are mad. Why wasn't it better graphics? And I'm like, it's a Pokemon game. It's not supposed to be real life looking. Like,
Well, and to be fair,
it's supposed to be cartoon looking.
this is their first like console game that they've like made it for a mainline Pokemon.
For mainline, yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, for mainline games. It was a great game. It really was. And so the art was a step up. The Pokemon designs, I think, were really cool. The choices they made. They did recently announce DLC for it, which I'm kind of in a love-hate relationship with, because I'm like, I love the fact that we're getting more to the game.
Right, of course.
I don't like the fact I have to pay for it.
Well, yeah, nobody does here.
So,
but
there's like 200 plus more Pokemon coming, which to me, that is the biggest thing within this game that I felt like should have been more. There was about 340 or 50 something Pokemon in the game.
okay,
Not new Pokemon. Not all of them were new.
right.
So I really thought that was kind of a letdown. As it coming from,
Well, yeah, I mean
there have been past games where they've had more than that. You
well,
know,
because up to this point, like with the past games, you could use like the Pokédex and like import like a lot of like your old Pokemon into that game, and then you'd have like essentially like this game's version of that, like done with like the game's art style and all that stuff. Yeah. So
I just think it's really weird. It's a significant enough number for me to go like, why weren't these just in the normal game? And I got to why couldn't I play with them the whole time?
Yeah,
because at this point the real reason that these Pokemon are entered in the game is not even for you to have them in the story. It's for post game online competitive play.
right. Yeah,
That's really what they're catering towards now.
oh really? Okay.
Well, I mean, Pokemon's always for those people who play. Like, there's the really casual players and there's the hardcore players. That's really all there is. I've tried playing online and stuff. I'm just not good enough. I don't spend enough time on it. But
yeah, not researching the metagame and all that.
No, that's a whole headache, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I think it was one of the best games that came out in this last decade. Lots of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really nostalgic for me. So, yeah.
All right, cool. So, one that's on my list for best games of the decade, Batman Arkham City.
Yeah, great game.
Great game. Like, this is probably the best licensed game, period, here.
Licensed as, like, being a property that's not like an IP of someone's?
Right. A license, yeah, basically, like, not existing as, like, a video game franchise here,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I mean the thing is like they really nailed like what I wanted out of the Batman game. Like the combat is great, the stealth is great. I mean obviously we had those things in Arkham Asylum and that was amazing, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that game was dope.
But I think this game blew it out of the water here just because
you can fly around on rooftops.
Yeah, no,
you can hang glide into just random dudes that are
exactly,
bad and
like
pick some fights if you want.
It gave you the feeling of like what it would be like of like patrolling Gotham City or like as Batman. I mean, granted you didn't get the Batmobile in this one here, but I mean I still prefer the rooftop gliding than like the Batmobile stuff that we got in Arkham Knight here for the most part. But one of the things is this might be the tightest campaign I've ever played. It's like, I think maybe about 10 or 12 hours and it's perfectly paced and it's packed with things to do. You got like side missions that involve other villains that are in the area. You got Riddler trophies. You got all sorts of stuff. And as a Batman fan, I thought the story amazing. Like, you're tapping some of the talent from like the animated series to actually work on this thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured like, okay, they'll probably play it safe, because this is a video game. They're not going to do anything too crazy. And spoiler alert, they kill off the Joker at the end of this game.
Yep.
That blew my mind.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
That's literally the end of the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, just chock full of great moments. The Mr. Freeze fight is probably one of the best fights that we got this last decade here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Yeah. No, I just have nothing but praise for this game.
Yeah, and I would say Arkham City is the best of the games they've done.
Yes.
I actually really did enjoy Arkham Knight, though.
I did, too. I do feel like the story was kind of like uneven in places.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's... you create a new character that isn't really a new character, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was an interesting take. It was different.
It was different, yeah. But
yeah, so next up, I mean, for me, I guess before that, but I just wanted more playability of other characters, maybe for some DLC. Like they could have done a little bit more with it. I feel like.
Well, yeah. I mean, they did do the Robin, the Catwoman, and the Nightwing DLC.
And I would say that those were just too short for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were kind of there just only in like really limited capacity. I mean, there wasn't like hey, here's like a whole like
side mission,
series of side missions.
That would have been amazing. I probably would have put the game at an 11 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, next up we got Dark Souls.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This game took me about 5 attempts to actually like get into it or like kind of understand it in terms of like how you're supposed to play it, how you're supposed to go about it and all that.
Yeah.
But if you end up sticking with it, it is very rewarding, like just overcoming like the challenge and like figuring things out and like kind of conquering it here.
Yeah, and if you're like, well, video games are just easy, go play these games.
Oh, dude.
Because you'll die.
Yeah, no.
A lot. You'll die a lot.
This game is like made for people who basically feel like video games have gotten too easy nowadays, and like basically like you don't have to do much to really win at a game. So
it was pretty funny. I mean, I played Bloodborne. That was my first game within these games. We'll talk about that game later, but that style of where it was just you had to learn the movements of people. You memorized maps. When Dorian was explaining this to me, I was like, this sounds weird. And then I started going, I'm like, oh, that makes sense actually.
Yeah.
Because you're dying so much, you memorize the towns.
You do, yeah. You're going back and all that. And yeah, I mean, it's a very high risk, high reward system where basically if you die in the game, you lose like all your experience points. So you can't level up until you get back to like a bonfire or, a checkpoint essentially. So, I mean, so it's kind of one of those things is like, okay, when's the right time to turn back? Do you do that like, now, or are you at the point where you're, if you go a little bit further, you might unlock the next bonfire or something like that. Or maybe there's something that you might be able to do.
A lot of times you're rolling dice.
Pretty much, yeah.
You're like, I'm probably going to die.
Yeah.
I have to go all the way back.
Yep. So, but no, I mean, it's honestly the combat in this game, it's fairly simple, but it's difficult to master here. Essentially like what it can boil down to is like you have a couple options. You dodge and hit, you parry and hit, or you block and hit. So, but I mean, you can't approach every single enemy the same way here. There's some that you have to take a little bit more caution of. There's some that you have to like approach a little bit differently. You can't just apply one formula to every single enemy here.
Right.
So, but one thing I don't think this game gets a lot of credit for is all the ways that you can play it. And what I mean by that is there's like a lot of character builds. You could have like somebody who just does magic and like, kind of takes people out at range and don't have to really deal about getting up close and personal all the time. You can have somebody who really focuses on blocking where you just have a shield and you have like a spear and all you're doing is you're just poking people from behind your shield here.
Yeah.
You could just go like how I like to do it, like 2 hands with a sword and just like roll around and dodge people all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I learned. Yeah.
So no, I mean and also you have sequence breaking where you can like go to different areas of the game where you're not necessarily supposed to be at, like right off the bat. You could skip entire bosses if you wanted to. It's one that really is kind of like open-ended here.
Yeah.
You don't have to like go to this place, but you could. I mean, or you can just kind of bypass it. So,
yep.
I mean, the graphics aren't great, but like the atmosphere that it creates, I think, is definitely top notch. Like it really has like this really grim and grimy medieval feel.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for boss fights,
this is your jam.
Oh, they deliver here. Like some really memorable, great boss fights on this one. But, one of the things that kind of helped me get into this game is it kind of feels like it's a social experiment type game because this game doesn't really explain a whole lot to you in terms of like, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it and all that. So it's one of those things where like, I honestly got into this game because I watched people on YouTube just struggle. And
that's pretty much the game.
Because like I attempted to play it one time before, and then I watched these guys or this one guy try to play it for the first time, and I'm just like, man, this guy's an idiot. Like I got further than him, and it's like, and then they see that okay, now they got further than me. Okay, well now I gotta play this game because like if I was able to get this much just right off the bat here. Yeah. Now I got to go and do it, and it makes it possible. But no, it's honestly like, it's very interesting to watch like how people like approach and play this game here, because I feel like everybody kind of like has a different way of doing it here.
Totally. Different play styles for different people.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I played Dark Souls 3 and I played Bloodborne.
Yeah.
They're hard.
They are hard.
They're really, really hard.
Yep. That's how I like them.
All right, up next.
It's the big one.
It's a big one. We got Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Okay, so for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of start this one off, I guess.
Yeah.
This game got me excited about video games again.
Yeah, because I mean, you wouldn't probably define yourself as like a gamer per
No,
se,
not.
or like, you know, you don't play like a ton of like games on a regular basis here.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm a TV show nerd. You know, that's kind of my main, that and movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I do play games. But like launch day for this game.
Oh.
Okay, it was my birthday weekend. I think it was the day we went there I think on my birthday. I think. What day did it release? Was it the 4th or the 3rd or the 2nd?
I think it was the 3rd.
So my birthday is the 2nd.
Okay.
We went and picked them up right after Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Went back to my house, played them. It was so fun. I think it really reminded me of when I was a kid and like a new Pokemon game would come out, basically.
Yeah, just that level of like awe and discovery here.
Yeah, because that scene when you come out of the cave, you go up to that ridge and the Great Plateaus there, you're like jaw dropping. This is going to be huge.
And the thing is, the Great Plateau is like 1% of that game.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Of that game's world. Insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and not even to mention that is like, remember like later that week we went to Portland.
Oh yeah.
We brought our Switches.
Yep.
Playing it, you know, all the way through when we're going to Portland on the drive there.
Yeah, we picked up some amiibos on the way. Remember when we stopped at
we sure
Fred
did.
Meyer?
Yeah.
It was hard to find some of those amiibos, and we pick them up because they give you like in-game benefits. Like you could get like more
like
gear and stuff like that
Exactly.
that would drop out of chest out of the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. But no, I mean, so this whole game, I mean, obviously the exploration is the big thing about this game. And this has to be the most open world game ever made because you go anywhere.
Yep.
You climb anything. There's no
Yep.
invisible walls keeping you out. And you can literally go to Hyrule Castle,
Fight the end boss.
fight the end boss immediately.
And we
What
had
other game does that?
I don't know. I mean, one of our friends did do that. He tried. Sebrecht.
Yep.
You know who you are.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that was part of the game too. It was like, whoa, you know, you would be ill pressed to go to an area that a quest hadn't sent you to because you knew you couldn't handle it.
Right.
But it was cool because you could go around, pick up some OP weapons if you got lucky.
Yeah.
And then head back to like the main storyline and just own people.
No, you can like just go explore to your heart's content until you get your butt kicked, essentially.
Totally, yeah. I mean, our friend Tim did do the whole game on 3 hearts.
Yeah, and put 500 hours into it.
Yeah. So if that's saying anything, Breath of the Wild 2 has got big expectations on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Big expectations.
Yeah.
And really, if they just made a sequel of the game and just kept just give me some new items, give me some
Just
new armor, new stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's going to be great.
Yeah. No, and here's the thing. It's a water cooler game. And what I mean by that is like, this is like the type of game that you go and you talk about with your friends in terms of like, you know, different experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Because it's going to be different depending on who you are.
yeah, exactly. Because like, you know, when I left the Great Plateau, I went to the desert and you went to a different area here. And then,
Yeah, you went to the desert. I went to the water area, I think.
yeah. And then like you did like a different divine beast. I did a different divine beast.
Oh, yeah, I did the wind one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did the water one. Then I did wind.
Mm-hmm.
Then, oh man, what was it? Yeah, and then I did the fire one last.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, but as somebody who's a lifelong Zelda fan, there are so many things in this game that I thought we would never get in a Zelda game. Like for one, voice acting.
Yeah.
First fully voiced Zelda game. And you're not married to your weapons. So like your weapons break on you.
Yep.
You legitimately can just throw them at whatever you want, like the sky or a person or something like that. And yeah, you might not ever see it again. And that's the thing. There's no restrictions on exploration because, like in previous Zelda games, it's like, oh, the bridge is out, you can't go here, or oh, you don't have the hook shot, you can't go here. You know, like so, because previously you'd kind of like slowly open up the world here, and then you'd be able to explore more and more here. Whereas this is like, it's already open, go for it here. But you also get all your items at the beginning of the game, essentially. Which I mean, they're called ruins in this game, but I mean, they're the equivalent of the items here. But also a dedicated physics system. So like, basically, if you, for the most part, if like you imagine like a certain object like behaving a certain way in like reality, it's probably gonna be that way in this game. If you like, if like you push a boulder to like an edge, it's gonna roll down. If you like you know, chop a tree and you're on a hill or something like that, it's probably gonna fall down and hit you in the face because it's rolling down the hill and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of hard to explain without like getting into it too much, but I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, you can burn the grass with fire.
Yeah.
You can burn trees with fire. You can throw like an electric sword into a pool of water.
Oh, yeah.
It will have like, it'll actually shock, you know, whatever's nearby here. So no, I mean, just things like that here, but also having different clothing because I mean, you don't have your traditional garb that, you know, Link typically wears, and you actually have a whole set of like, you know, armor and outfits that you have that you upgrade, give you different stats. So
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, no.
And different combinations, improve that. So
absolutely. Yeah. So no, I think honestly, yeah, it's definitely redefined what open world games should be here.
Yes.
And it's going to be one of those things that I feel like other open world games are going to be hard to go back to because of how crazy this game was.
Yeah. I agree.
So
more Zelda talk.
More Zelda talk. So here's the thing. Zelda Skyward Sword. The internet, for whatever reason, I feel like hates this game just because it was pretty popular at launch, and then people just kind of started to take a big dump on it here. But here's the thing. I absolutely love this game. I think it's the best.
Was it because you could swing the Wiimote and he swings his sword?
Yes. No, it's for one. So here's the thing. So Twilight Princess, I was kind of disappointed by it just because
I didn't really like Twilight Princess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just because I think they're trying too hard to be like, you know, cool and edgy, like you know, kind of be more realistic and stuff. And I've come to realize that that's not Zelda's shtick. No, it's not. Zelda is not Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or Skyrim. Here,
nope,
you know?
Never will be.
Yep. So this was kind of a return to form to like, you know, Zelda's like, you know, usual self for one. But it's also one of the best Zelda stories we've gotten in a while because this is essentially is a precursor to all the other games that exist. Or you get to see how the Master Sword was created. You get to see how Ganon came to be. You know, all these things that, you know, exist in the Zelda, you know, universe. Or you get to see like, okay, how did these things come about? Great bosses. Like, I don't know if you remember the bosses too much in this game, but
not all of them, but I do remember them.
Yeah, there's one where you're fighting like this animatronic man, and he's got like 6 arms, and what you're doing is like you're taking a whip, ripping off his arms, stealing like his big freaking sword, and like just hitting him with it and all that. Yeah, and then another one, like the Girahim fight scenes, like the Orochimaru, Michael Jackson guy here. Like the fight scenes against Sam are pretty dope as well. And then, but the one I think is the best is at the very end with the final boss where you're fighting him. It's like a 1-to-1 sword duel, but then all of a sudden he starts catching lightning and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then you're like, how am I supposed to deal with that?
Yeah.
And then you got to catch the lightning as well. And no, it's great. But, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's like a lot of people complain about the motion kind of being off here and all that.
It was.
I mean,
a little bit
here. I mean, it wasn't like completely perfect, but here's the thing. If you actually took the time to set your motion bar up properly, it'll work. And I think that's just something that people just didn't get. I don't know. But it introduced a fully fleshed out upgrade system, like for the first time in the series, which is the first. You know, you got to like actually upgrade your items, which I thought was absolutely dope.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. But no, overall, really good game. I think it does not get the credit it deserves. That's about it.
And maybe as we were saying that, I'm thinking for Breath of the Wild 2, maybe incorporating kind of some upgrade
like
stuff
upgrade
where you
your
could
weapons.
upgrade weapons.
Absolutely.
That would be cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah. Up next is a mobile game.
Yep.
Some of you might know it. Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Okay, I had to put this in here because this game was an absolute phenom for about a week and a half.
Yes.
Well, maybe even a month, really.
I mean, it was probably at least for like that summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The community was insane. It was insanity. Everyone was playing it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Me and Brett, we live in a fairly smaller area population, probably about 40,000 people roughly, somewhere around there. And when this game launched, we went downtown to the downtown area. Hundreds and hundreds of people.
Maybe 1,000.
Maybe thousands.
Yeah.
Were down there just playing Pokemon Go.
Walking around playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, I could not believe how big or how quickly that took on.
Even businesses were playing into it because they're like, hey.
Like, we got a Pokestop here.
Come on in. 20% off if you show us you're playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, everyone was on board with it, and it was so cool, and you could go down. I wish trading was around then. That was like in battling.
Yeah, no.
If the game came out with all that stuff.
Oh, it would have been so good.
Oh, gosh. Dude, if people were making a killing, our buddy Tim picked up some portable chargers for a discounted price, and we probably could have flipped them for a pretty penny down there.
We probably could have, yeah.
We probably should have went into business doing that because we would have made money.
We probably should have.
But, yeah, I mean, for those companies who had, portable batteries made a killing for that time because it would drain the heck out of your phone.
It would, yeah.
And so, I don't know. It's something we're never going to be able to explain to someone who wasn't there, experiencing the Pokemon Go scene because it was so insane.
Yeah, no, it was a phenomenon. Essentially, it's a big social experiment here.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And you just go out, you go find Pokemon in your town and all that, and then you go and you talk to your friends, maybe go do a gym or something like that.
Well, and it was interesting because kind of similar to exploring the actual world around you. Mm-hmm. And if someone was like, they're like, hey, over by this school, there's a Blastoise, and you're like, what? And you could try to make it over there in time.
Oh, yeah.
To find and capture the Blastoise or whatever the rare Pokemon might have been.
Yep.
It was nuts. I remember driving. My brother would be driving. We'd take turns.
Yeah.
And I'd be looking for like rare stuff, and we found like a Blastoise randomly, like a Wartortle, like just like driving the street. And I'm surprised we didn't get in a wreck or anything, but like, pull off to the side. We got to run this way.
Yeah. No, I remember. We definitely went on like some Pokemon escapades era.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're going into the parks like late at night trying to find a Pikachu or something, or we're just driving and there's like a Wartortle or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's honestly like, I'm really surprised that nobody else has really tried to capture that whole thing. I mean, I know that
Harry Potter kind of tried to.
Harry Potter kind of tried.
I played it for half a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not that fun.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. So BioShock Infinite. So this game really took me by surprise by how much I like it. I'm probably going to get a little bit of spoiler territory, so you've been warned. But the thing is like I really like the main story in this game, and I'm not somebody who really likes parallel universe stories just because I kind of feel like it's kind of like almost a cheesy way to like do writing, or kind of a cop-out way for the most part. But no, I really think they lent itself here. I love the setting. Very like, old America, very like pristine, idealistic, if you want to call it that here. The gameplay for the shooting, I think is absolutely great. Like I've really liked the flow and how the combat is. You got the sky hook where you can like roll around, go to a different place, kill a guy, jump back on. You have a bunch of different powers that you can like switch between to use them. Like you can suspend a bunch of people in the air, take out your shotgun and go to town. You can push a guy off. You can like, if there's a guy with a Gatling gun, you can like hold out a force field and like grab all of his bullets and then shoot them back at him. I mean, I just really liked how they designed that, and it's probably my favorite shooter that's been made.
Yeah, this is one of the few games I'm really surprised they haven't come out with another game in the line.
Well, I think it's mostly because Ken Levine, the guy who's, responsible for it here, he did not show up or he didn't come back for this. He's kind of doing his own thing. So I think they want him on board before they make this here. But I mean, the way they ended it, it's kind of like this could be like the end cap for like, the BioShock games here, because it really kind of gets into the whole minutia of like, what is like the main thing of like the BioShock games. There's always a man, there's always a city, there's always a girl here type thing here. And it's just happening across different parallel universes here.
Right.
So
no, and I love these games. I think this one was the least memorable for me, and I don't know why.
I mean, well, for one, it's definitely,
it is a little different than the other ones.
Oh, it's most certainly different, just because, I mean, for one, you're not in Rapture anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have that setting where, because this one was like more of a
it almost felt like a prequel.
It is. No, it kind of is
for
the most part. But I mean, but yeah, you don't have like that 1960s vibe. You don't have.
Well, it's probably more like 1940s, 1920s.
Yeah, whatever it is. And it's not like, the underwater dystopia where like things have gone horribly wrong. And it's like, not like, kind of like the horror game or
no, not as
vibe.
much. Not as much.
Yeah.
This is a game I need to play again. I'm really hoping they do like a HD version of these games and then put it on the Switch.
Yeah, which the rumor is that's what they're doing.
Because they do have it for PlayStation and Xbox.
They do have it on PlayStation and Xbox. I think they typically run about $20 or something like that.
Yeah, each or for
the whole thing.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I might actually pick that up for PlayStation, but I mean, it'd be really cool to have it on the go. It's just I think it'd play really well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but yeah, great game.
Mm-hmm.
Really liked it.
All right.
Yeah, the next game is Destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, we waited a long time for this game. I feel like it was hyped up right after Halo 4 or 3. I want to say
because Halo Reach, I think, was Bungie's last Halo game.
Okay,
so probably after Halo Reach. So it's been like a long time coming. But
I remember as soon as I found out about this game, I pre-ordered it, and like a year later it came out. First real MMO first-person shooter.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. I've played MMOs before here, and honestly, like the combat and the gameplay, I'm not really a big fan of, just because I feel like a lot of it is just like, okay, it's just kind of there to serve a purpose here. Whereas like the gameplay with Destiny, it's it's not a downgrade from like a different shooter or something like that. It's just feels just as tight, just as good as like you would play like any other shooter.
Yeah, and I felt it was just a solid game, Destiny 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put as much time into 2 than I did 1.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fun. You get to play with your friends, and you're basically like Master Chiefs, like Spartans, almost. So
yeah,
cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was the game that made me buy a PS4, because when this came out, everybody jumped on this. Everybody had it. Everybody was playing it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those things where it was like, you had a, you were never short of like, finding a friend to play this with. And you were also always like chasing after the next big drop here. Like, I'm going to get like this exotic helmet, or I'm going to get this gun. I'm going to get this equipment here. You know? I mean, this is kind of like the type of game I've always dreamed about as a kid. Like, having like a RPG multiplayer game here,
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from Destiny.
Mm-hmm. I have Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Didn't play this game, but I saw you guys playing it. It looked really fun.
Yep. So basically this is, I'm going to go speak on it briefly, but this is a game that lets you play the way you want to play it. I mean, essentially what you do is you're a guy that's essentially like almost like a Navy SEAL. You're like an army guy, pretty stealthy. You get dropped into an area via helicopter, and you're just told like, hey, here's your objective. Just make it happen. Figure it out. So you could go in straight up like non-stealth, shoot everybody up.
Yeah.
Like call in an airstrike, and then like run out with like, you know, your target. Like sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's just like you got to grab like a disc or something like that. And it could be like a Michael Bay movie or something. You could, or you could like be like really stealthy and like there's this one that I did where like I had to like kill a guy. And so I snuck around and I saw that like, okay, he's only going to be here for a limited amount of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some C4 onto like his car. So in case if I don't kill him,
you blow it up.
Yeah, I blow it up when he gets in it, and it worked here. So
hey,
I mean,
there you go.
No, it's
different strokes for different folks.
Yep, exactly. So no, it's definitely the best stealth game ever made. I feel like just because it gives you so many options, it just feels like really good to play. You know, you just really tight controls, the works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So up next we have
Spider-Man.
So
I mean, for these next few games that I have, I'm just going to talk really briefly about them because I feel like they're games either you've probably played or heard about already.
Mm-hmm.
But this game just really reminded me of Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
So cool. I mean, you feel like Spider-Man, similar to like the Arkham games where you feel like Batman. They really nailed Peter Parker and just being Spider-Man, upgrading, getting cool suits, getting new gadgets for yourself, and just really fun boss fights. Just fun, really just slinging webs through the town and getting crazy, tricking out and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is like probably the first game I've seen like really take inspiration from the Arkham games here. And so
big time combat and everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so in terms of like like a superhero property, so I mean, I'm curious to see like, you know, where this is going to go next here. Like, are we going to get like a dope Punisher game some point here?
Probably not,
but I'd love it.
Oh yeah, I think that Spider-Man's one of those characters that this works really well with. I don't really know. I mean, they could do it with anyone.
I mean, if you get the Max Payne guys to make a Punisher
cool.
game,
that would be really cool.
Ooh. So,
but yeah, that's all I got for Spider-Man. Super good game. Go pick it up.
All right. So next up, I have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Witcher.
So I mean, like I mentioned earlier, this game is this generation's Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yep. Some of the best things that I think this game has to offer is the worlds and the characters. Like the world is interesting. It's like a very kind of like grim fairy tale type of
grim dark
world. Yeah, grim dark fantasy.
Yep.
And you know, the characters are, you know, kind of like a very not necessarily like good or evil per se. They have like their own motivations, kind of more in the gray area.
Yep.
Side quests are everywhere and there's a lot of them. But here's the thing, like the main side quests or the monster contracts, they're interesting because half the time you're trying to piece together like, okay, what happened here? You know, and like, is this a monster or is this like something else here?
Totally.
And then honestly, initially, I was just going to pass on this game just because, again, it's like open world games are a commitment.
Big time.
You know, I'm really glad I did not. I mean, this is like one of the best games I played this generation.
Yeah, solid detective game.
Yeah.
That's really, I think, what at its essence, it's a fantasy detective game.
You know, it honestly is, yes.
Yeah, and so I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good game, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you're an adult, check it out.
Yep.
If you're younger than an adult, don't check it out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, up next,
Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order.
I mean, I put this on here, I think mostly because it's the most recent game I've played.
Yeah.
Enough said. I mean, if you want to be a Jedi and you want to do cool stuff and have a solid story, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a super original story, but really fun time. Go check this game out.
Yeah. No, and I have beaten this game and I like it. I don't love it per se, just because, I mean, there are a few things holding it back. But overall, I think this is a very solid product. And if you're somebody who's in the market for a Jedi game.
I think it's really for Star Wars fans. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan, you will enjoy this game.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yeah.
All right.
Bloodborne. So
we both enjoyed this one.
Yep. So this was another game that I was initially going to pass on just because, like I said, I tried to get into Dark Souls earlier, it it took me 5 times to get into that game. This was probably like between my third or fourth attempt when I played this game, and I was gonna pass by it just because I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be Dark Souls just set in like a Gothic Victorian setting here and stuff like that. But this might be my game of the decade potentially. I absolutely love this game. It was the game that got me into like the Souls series, the From Software games.
I think it's the best of them.
I think you are correct. Yes. I mean, the atmosphere is amazing. It's creepy. It's haunting. It's got a lot of attention to detail in there. The combat is quick and snappy. Like you're
not as clunky as the Dark Souls games.
Right. Because I mean, the Dark Souls games are slower in comparison because you have armor, you have shields, you have like more options in terms of like how to deal with like, certain enemies here and all that.
And this, you don't really have an option.
No, you don't have a shield. Basically, all like you either get hit or you move out of the way here. And that's like all you got here. And no, it's like unlike Dark Souls, it kind of rewards like aggressive gameplay. So like if you get hit by an enemy and you're able to kind of regain your composure and like deliver a couple hits, you can regain that health that they took from you here. Yeah. And you also get like a lot more healing flask in this game than you do in Dark Souls for one. So it kind of like makes it, there's a little bit more room for error in that one here. But no, there's excellent bosses in this game. Like freaking, they really get you early on with like the second boss in that game.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, like he's like one of the hardest bosses in the game, and he like legitimately, I think that's like where the rubber meets the road for most people because after you,
not including the optional boss, right?
Yeah, not including the optional boss, but
what was the guy's name? He turns into the
Gascoigne.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, it took me so long to figure that out.
Oh, I remember like saying like. Probably like about 3:00 in the morning playing that game because it took me like so long to beat them. I'm like, as God is my witness,
I will beat this guy.
I will beat this guy. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
what was your go-to weapon in the game?
Oh, it's got to be the saw cleaver because you get it early on. And the thing is like when you have it, if you just string together a couple combos on like most of like, the cannon fodder enemies, like, the enemies that are like, your basic humanoid enemies, you can like stun them until they die here essentially.
Pretty much,
keep doing it. And then you have to just watch out for dodge the next guy, wait for your stamina to reload, and then rinse and repeat. But no, I think it's definitely a challenge, but it's fair. And it also does I think it does a better job in terms of like Dark Souls and kind of giving you an idea of where to go or what to do here. It doesn't necessarily just like throw you in and completely like give you no idea of what to expect or how to do things. I mean, but again, it's like if you feel like games have been too easy as of late,
play this game.
It's
the hardest stinking game I've ever played.
All
right, moving on.
Halo
Reach and Halo 4. And the only reason I put this in here is because I think it just, for me, I had so many friends playing these games.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, me and my brother would play a lot. I play with other friends. I mean, the multiplayer was legit. A lot of fun. Really competitive.
Yeah.
If you're into that. Other than that, I mean, not much to it. But, I mean, it was just a fun game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember when you, me, and Alex and Siebrecht, Alex like I think bought an Xbox just for this game, and we're all playing online, split screen, and all that. And I think they took that away for Halo 5. Like, there's no split screen.
No, there's no split screen,
and that boggles my mind because like, how is that not more of a popular thing here? Like
it's just not anymore. But
like, Call of Duty, Destiny, whoever.
Yeah.
What's your problem?
I don't know. But in the same vein, there's another game that we both really enjoy.
Yes. Overwatch. Yes. So
this game was a surprise to me, to be honest.
No, because I literally knew nothing about this game because I thought, and I really did not pay any attention because I thought at first it was a MOBA.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
it's done by Blizzard. It's not necessarily like something they do.
Yeah, not typically.
Has that MOBA vibe about it?
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, it's yeah, no. I remember just trying the beta on a whim, and pretty much like a day later, I go and pre-order it here because
Yep.
I was honestly just really surprised of like how much I enjoyed this game because it just kind of came out of nowhere and surprised the heck out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, here's the thing. I firmly believe this is like the Smash Bros for first person shooters because
Oh,
it's
100%.
like you have like very animated, distinct characters for one. You also have like pretty simple like mechanics or move sets here. It's not like, you know, trying to like throw a whole lot of things at you. You don't
No,
utilize
yeah.
every button on the controller per se, but there's a lot of like, and it's, you know, it's easy to get into, but it's a little bit difficult to master here. And it has endless replay value because they're pretty much always updating it.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's one of those things that anyone can jump into, but it's hard to be really good at one of the characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Unless you put the time in. But it's so fun to just jump in with some friends and go up against another group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't say anything bad about this game, really.
No, it is honestly, yeah, it is like the best multiplayer game I think of this generation here.
Yeah, I agree.
So, up next, Super Mario Odyssey. This is
Super
one that you
Mario.
put on there.
Super Mario.
Yeah, Super Mario.
Really, it's just I think just the fun I had playing this game. Like, I would say, what's the game where you and Siebrecht almost broke up?
Oh gosh. Oh, that would have been Super Mario,
Mario World.
3D Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this game is better than that game, I think.
Oh no, it absolutely is.
It's a lot of fun. It's not open world per se,
No,
but
but
you can run around and do cool stuff. Really reminiscent of Mario 64.
yeah, Mario Sunshine. Yeah.
Because that's the game I played a lot as a kid. It was Mario 64, and so yeah, I just had a lot of fun with this game. You know, and it's one of the few games I've completed as of late, which that's saying something.
Yeah, you don't do that very
no,
often. Yeah.
I usually get busy and kind of move on. But
Yeah. No, and it's like this game, you know, because here's the thing. I did like the Galaxy games here, but I did feel like, you know, you're kind of you are robbing you know, something of the previous Mario games when this is more linear and you don't like have like this, you know, big area that you can go and explore and just like, you know, mess around and do stuff here. I mean, this game really kind of just like brought that back to it. And no, it's just honestly one of those games that, you know, it's hard to be in a bad mood playing this game just because.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's very light and fluffy.
Light and fluffy, you know, just, yeah, exactly.
And you can get crazy if you want to.
Oh, absolutely.
Like with all the different online stuff and challenges.
all the
and
balloon challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and stuff people would try, like C-Rick would try to do. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Moving on. This is a game I really want to play, and so I need to borrow it from you at some point.
You can do that any day.
Yeah, maybe today.
Okay.
Persona 5.
Yes.
Okay, so neither of us have, before this game, neither of us had played. I've watched you play a little bit of it.
Right. But I never got into the Persona franchise before this game.
Right.
I had no idea what really Persona was about and all that, but no, this game I will say is the best JRPG that I have played in a long time. It's probably the best. Yeah, no, I will say this. This is the best JRPG of the decade here.
Wow.
Very, like, has a great sense of style. It has like a very unique approach to dungeons where you're not like you don't just go and power through a dungeon because there's kind of a calendar system that you have to kind of work around where you'll have like certain days to complete objective X or something like
gotcha.
that. And so what you do is you'll be like, okay, on this day, I'm going to go into this dungeon. I'm going to get, you know, this far until I run out of supplies. Then I'm going to back out. And then like maybe the next day or, you know, maybe in like, you know, a couple of days, I'll go back into there and then go through it again.
So do you catch Pokemon?
You do catch Pokemon, yeah. So basically, like the enemies you fight in this game, they're Persona, and what you do is like pretty much like your magic that you have in this game, you have to like equip different persona to you here essentially. And so you have a couple different ways you can do it. You can like catch them out in the field. You can like take two that you already have, fuse them together, create a new one. You got options.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I think the calendar system in this game, I think, is one of the best things about it, because it's kind of like Fire Emblem, where you have like a certain amount of time to like do things,
to train up, to get ready,
train
prepare.
up. Yeah, exactly. So kind of like how you spend your off time, or the time out of like, the combat scenarios or the combat issues here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, that's like one of the best things about it, because you could be like, okay, I'm going to work on like getting this dungeon done, or, oh, I'm going to go do this side quest, or, oh, I'm going to like actually do something to work on improving my stats here. So I might deepen like a relationship that I have with like one of the characters. That way we have like a better bond in battle here and stuff. So no, I mean, all in all, I mean, this game, it took me by surprise. Loved it. They have my attention for Persona 6.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned best JRPG of the decade.
Yes.
Where does Octopath Traveler stand in that?
Ooh, gosh.
Because that's a game we don't have actually on our list, which I'm surprised we didn't.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, Octopath Traveler, I like that game. And, I think it's like a very awesome throwback to like, the Super Nintendo RPG, like, Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy, Super Nintendo games and all that. But I do feel like, if I had to like put it on a list, because I'm trying to think of like all the JRPGs I played this decade, because there weren't really a lot that grabbed my attention.
No.
It probably might be my second.
Okay.
Maybe somewhere around there. Maybe second or third. I'd have to really think about that, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So up next, God of War.
God of War.
May your hammer be mighty.
Yes.
So, anyhow, this is probably one of the few games that I feel like actually lives up to the hype, because you remember when this game came out.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's talking about it.
10 out of 10s.
Everything.
Everywhere here. And I was one of those people that I was like, okay, calm down, everybody. This is probably not that crazy here.
It's not the perfect game.
Yeah. So I even took a while before actually deciding to jump in and play it here. And wow, that's all I got to say here.
I have not played it yet.
Yeah. I mean,
I need to.
Objectively, this is probably the PS4's best game.
Wow.
Because it impressed me on every level. The graphics, amazing. Gameplay, amazing. Story is amazing. The music is absolutely phenomenal as well. I mean, there's just not like enough good things I can say about this game here.
Sweet.
Yeah. I
like that.
Yeah, no, it's like, and one of the other benefits of this game that I enjoy personally, it's like 20 hours. You're not, it's not asking you to like say, hey, commit your life to us here. Like, some of these open
like
world
most games.
Yeah. It's just saying like, hey,
like this next game we're going to talk about.
Oh yes. But yeah, no, it's honestly, it's, if you have a PS4, you should probably play this game.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
All right.
Moving on.
A big one.
Skyrim. Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Yes.
You are Dragonborn. Yeah, this game is amazing. I mean, I think it's a really solid game. It is a lot of fun. The whole thing about the shouts and the dragons and everything, I think, is honestly what made it for me.
Really?
Honestly, if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and it doesn't have something like that, that's set next tier up, it's not going to be as good.
Probably not. I mean, and like we said, it's hard to say if Elder Scrolls 6 is actually going to be good, just given the track record that those guys have right now here.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I probably put I don't know, a lot of time into this, at least 100 hours into this game. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those, if you want a game that you can get lost in, you got it here. I mean, it's...
Oh, yeah. It's a fantasy world that you can just get lost in.
Fantasy world, yeah.
Just one thing. You could get really lost in just, like, making items. Or, like one thing or the other. Or just going on a hunt for dragons.
Reading a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You read lots of books in this game.
No, and it's one of those that, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a classic game that people will remember for a long, long time. No, I think it's it's definitely one of the big ones of the generation.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
All right.
Last game on the list.
Last game. One of the best games.
Oh, absolutely. Smash Bros. Ultimate.
The ultimate Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I would say, because I would say this is the best Smash game. Because
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because here's the thing.
Everyone's here except Waluigi.
Yes. But also, so if we dial the clock back a little bit, Smash Bros. 64, really good, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not a very polished fighter going back to it.
No.
Here. Melee, changed the game.
Solid. Super solid.
Brawl, fun, not as good as Melee.
Right.
Smash 4, Wii U, 3DS,
Not bad.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
Better than Brawl.
Yeah.
This game, I feel like, really said, hey,
Smash
Melee.
you.
Like,
Well, what do you?
what you got on me now?
Yeah, you got nothing.
You got nothing.
You
Yeah.
got nothing, kid.
No, it's like
Especially with the roster in this game.
especially with the roster. Also, just this is the game that replaced Melee at Evo finally here.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Which is insane to me. I figured that was going to be going till the end of time here,
Nope.
basically. But
Yeah.
no, and one of the things I do appreciate about this game is obviously there's no shortage of things to do in it, for one, but also you have you like the competitive scene in this game. It's like it's not boiled down to 3 or 4 characters like it is in Melee. Like you can see like a whole different slew of people playing certain characters competitively. You can see competitive DDDs. You could see competitive Roys. You could see competitive Snakes here and stuff like that. It's not just like, oh yeah, you have to play these certain characters if you want to actually stay on top of the game here. So no, I really appreciate about this game, that there's definitely just seems like a lot more variety and just, yeah, everybody's here.
It's self-explanatory, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, super awesome game. Still have lots of fun with it. Me and my wife played it last night, actually.
Oh, really?
Yep, her first time playing it. I dominated.
Of course you did.
I'm actually not good at that game, but yeah. So it's a really fun game. So I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
We are done.
So that pretty much concludes our Decade in Review series.
Yeah, stay tuned for other things. We're going to be hitting some throwbacks and whatnot, maybe looking at some shows, some games, some movies.
All the things that made your childhood great.
It'll be a glorious time. But yeah, stay tuned. Thank you guys for listening. We greatly appreciate it. And remember, everyone's learned about something.